Good evening and welcome to Green Pass Gaming. You might be thinking that's an unusual voice to hear introduce himself to a show on Green Pass Gaming. Obviously, I am Scott SX2. Flap and Green Pass Gaming very kindly offered me their channel for the next maybe 15, 20 minutes or so just to talk about the recent news that's come out today about Microsoft finally and officially confirming the acquisition of ZeniMax and therefore Bethesda. So I thought it would be cool just maybe to jump on and just have a little chat, talk through it. So this is going to be something a little bit different. Obviously, we do still have the Green Pass Gaming podcast this Sunday, so please do tune in as normal. Obviously, if you do have any questions about anything, or if you want to make any comments, please put it in the chat, and I will do my best. I am obviously riding solo a little bit here, so it is. A little strange for me from that perspective, but I will try my best to keep an eye on the chat as well. So let's get into it then. So if you haven't seen it already, Microsoft have finally confirmed that Bethesda is now part of Team Xbox, announced on Xbox Wire just a little bit earlier today. I guess ending months and months of speculation and days of people rummaging through SEC and EU Commission filings to try and find out is it finally done. And as of 6:30 a.m. PST, I believe, in the states there, it's official. Phil Spencer posting up on the Xbox Wire just confirming that everything is done. So there's not really an awful lot within the press releases. I guess there's one big talking point which I'll come on to in a moment. But other than that, it's fairly straightforward. If you haven't had a chance to read the Xbox Wire post, then please do. It basically talks about the different studios that Xbox are welcoming to Team Xbox. And the big thing that you'll notice on there is very Game Pass focused. There is a lot of talk about Game Pass and just a little bit on exclusivity, but we'll touch on that in a moment. So the big, I guess, paragraph out there, then I guess I'll just read it verbatim as it is on the post on Xbox Wire, which is with the addition of the Bethesda creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox consoles, PC, and Game Pass will be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players. And this has got people talking. Now, you may have thought that once the announcement was made, that conversation we put to bed. But unfortunately, if anything, it's just made things a little bit worse. And it's that one word in there, some new titles. And I know there's a lot of speculation on what that might mean. Nearer term, though, towards the end of the press release, they do mention that in celebration, they are going to be bringing additional Bethesda games into Xbox Game Pass a little bit later this week, and we should hopefully find out a little bit more about that shortly. So now the cool thing is here. So this has obviously just gone up. And we've got Flap in the chat. Thank you very much, Flap, for setting this up. Very, very last minute. We just had a phone call before, and he very kindly is sitting in the background making things work. Pucks is in the chat as well. Hey, Pucks. And we've got Kay Sante in there as well. So thank you very much, Kay Sante, for joining. It's pretty cool to see 8 people watching. Christ, I didn't expect that. I originally told Flap I would just do it on my own YouTube channel just so nobody would be watching, so I could get a little bit of practice in. But hey, it's cool to see some people in there. So if you do have any thoughts on the press release, particularly on what it might mean for the exclusivity point, then please do let me know in the chat. Now, from my perspective, I think what they've done here is they've left it open, basically to give them the flexibility to do whatever the hell that they might want to do in the future. Now, it is complicated by the fact that later this year in March and then in October, there are games from Arcane and Tango that are going to be exclusive to PlayStation. That does make things a little bit more challenging. Obviously, Phil Spencer has already stated that they're going to honor those particular agreements, but we obviously can't expect to see those in Game Pass probably exactly 12 months from the release date. But I think from my perspective, I still am of the opinion that the Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield, and games of that ilk will be exclusive to PC and Xbox. I think a lot of people have taken this phrase in here and are still, or I guess are now, or if they were already under the impression that Bethesda games will continue to come to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch possibly as well. But I think the way that I'm reading this, and it's sort of been my opinion the whole way, is that multiplayer games such as Fallout 76, Elder Scroll, sorry, not yeah, I guess Elder Scrolls Online, and any subsequent expansions for those games will obviously continue to be supported on the likes of PlayStation if they do ever come to Switch there as well. But games such as the Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield, Wolfenstein 3 will probably be exclusive to Xbox and PC. However, by using language such as some, they do give themselves a little bit of room to maneuver in terms of future announcements. But what that did prompt me to do is I thought, let's take a little look. Let's take a little look at what exactly Bethesda have currently got in the pipeline at the moment. And when I looked at it, I was surprised it wasn't actually as much as I expected. I guess, and this is maybe part of the problem that Microsoft have had with some of the acquisitions that they made back in 2018, is that a lot of these studios are actually deep in development of games or have very recently released games, and therefore it's going to be a little bit of a while before we see anything from them. So we've got Deathloop coming from Arcane in May of this year. So it's going to probably be another 4 or 5 years until we see another game from Arcane. Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks is out in October. So again, we're probably talking another 4 or 5 years for the next game from those. I know a lot of people are hopeful that this might mean a return to the Evil Within franchise. We'll have to wait and see on that. We then got Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6, which are announced. A lot of rumors around Starfield coming out in 2021. I think there is something to that. Obviously, we'll probably learn a little bit more at E3 this year. And I would still put some money on that being exclusive to Xbox and PC at this point. Obviously, a brand new IP hasn't previously been announced for any platforms to my knowledge. So I would think maybe that's one that Microsoft would like to come out and say, look, if you want to play Starfield fall of 2021, then get yourself an Xbox or get yourself a Game Pass subscription. Elder Scrolls 6 is probably a little way off at this time. So again, we're going to be waiting a little bit of time for that. But I guess that one being probably the biggest one, Elder Scrolls 5 sold many millions of copies across multiple platforms. So we'll be interested if Microsoft do make that decision to lock that to the Xbox ecosystem, but I suspect they will do as well. We've recently had the Indiana Jones project announced by Machine Games, and I suspect, and from what we've heard, is that's still very early in development. So again, we're talking a number of years out for that, and it is possible that the agreement that Bethesda Machine Games have for that project does stipulate that it has to be multi-platform, which again would sort of fit in line with the language that they've used in that press release of saying it is only going to be some. And then we've got the rumored Wolfenstein 3, which is also potentially a 2021 release, although who knows how COVID has had, what sort of impact COVID has had on those particular projects. So at the moment, really, outside of Commander Keen, which I'm not going to talk about too much, the unannounced, I guess the announced projects that are going to be coming out, I guess, in the next couple of years so far, just Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, Wolfenstein 3, and Indiana Jones. And yeah, it does make me wonder, are we going to be in a similar situation with Bethesda as we are with a lot of the existing game studios, where we're going to have to wait a long time? Obviously, game development takes a while for us to be able to reap the rewards of this particular acquisition. But I guess time will tell. So I guess everyone in the chat, if you are listening, it would be good to know, what do you think? Yes, Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, Wolfenstein 3, Indiana Jones. Do you expect to see them come to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, or do you think they will be exclusive to Xbox at this point? So I guess it won't be too long until we have to find out. I suspect we'll get a big blow up, particularly of Starfield, no later than E3 of this year, and that should hopefully start to put things to bed. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see there. So the next particular thing that they talk about in the press release, like I say, is the announcement of more Bethesda games coming to Xbox later this year. So thank you to Farsight XR20 on Reset Era, who very kindly put together a little bit of a list of Game Pass games from Bethesda, and probably more importantly, a list of games that aren't currently on Game Pass. It'll be really good to know who or which games people would love to see come to Game Pass very soon. I suspect within the next couple of months, all of these games will be in Game Pass, but it sounds like we'll be getting some announcements probably by the end of this week on a selection of these games hitting Game Pass. So at the moment, we've got the likes of The Evil Within, The Evil Within 2, Doom 2016, which was previously in Game Pass, but has since been removed, Prey, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, the Wolfenstein games. I think the New Order and New Colossus have previously been in Game Pass, but the Old Blood hasn't. Dishonored, obviously Dishonored 2 is currently in Game Pass. I did give that a shot, but it would be good maybe to go back to the first game. Oblivion, Morrowind, Rage, and there is also Quake Champions on PC, which apparently is free to play. So we'll just have to see. So, which of those games, chat, out of interest, are you most looking forward to coming to Game Pass? I think, personally speaking, looking at that list, I'm really actually interested in playing the Evil Within games, mainly because one, I've not played them before, but secondly, having played the Medium just earlier this year, I'm actually quite interested in that genre of game, getting a little bit more horror games in my life, as I haven't really played an awful lot. I've tried to expand the genres I've played recently, starting with Resident Evil 7, which I couldn't quite get into, but I really enjoy the Medium. I know we discussed that on a previous episode of the Green Pass Game podcast. So it'll be great to see the Evil Within and the Evil Within 2 come into Game Pass, so I could finally get the opportunity to play them. And then you never know, we might see the Evil Within 3 at some point in the future, which I think a lot of people maybe never expected. I think the Evil Within 2 wasn't quite as well received as the first entry in the series. So I think maybe people weren't ever expecting a third entry, but maybe this acquisition does give Bethesda the opportunity to fund a game like that, obviously with the backing of Game Pass. So beyond that, I think a lot of people would probably be looking to see the Fallout games come in there. Obviously, Fallout 4 was one of the games that Microsoft originally touted for the double FPS mod. So it'll be interesting to see if that does come and if that does have the FPS boost feature enabled. And I haven't actually played Prey either, so I would be really curious to have a chance to play Prey. Now, if you were listening to last Sunday's podcast, you will possibly remember that I'm not a big fan of Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not really that big on that type of game. So if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not I'm not massively looking forward to the Elder Scrolls 6. Shock horror. They're not my type of games. Now I know Starfield's going to be of similar ilk, but with it being in the sci-fi genre, I am looking a little bit more forward to that. But I've never really clicked with the Elder Scrolls game. I did play a fair bit of Oblivion, couldn't quite get into Morrowind, so I'm not really that excited for that game, if I'm being perfectly honest. And we'll just have to see what else they've got cooking. I think the Bethesda game, unfortunately, that I'm looking forward to the most at this point in time is probably Deathloop. I think the most recent trailer, the PlayStation State of Play, was fantastic. Had really amazing Bond vibes, and that really caught us. So I'm a little bit gutted that that's exclusive to the PlayStation at this point. So having a quick look at chat, we've got Pucks in there saying he's not a big fan of Resident Evil, but he would recommend Resident Evil 2 Remake. That's a good shout, Pucks. I might need to go back to some of the others. I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of the direction that they went with Resident Evil from a first-person perspective, so maybe I'll collect more with some of the others. I did play some of the original Resident Evils a long time ago. I really enjoyed 4. I've sort of dropped off after 4, though. And then I can see Double Barrel Gaming. Welcome to the chat, mate. Looks like you're still trying to work out what that Xbox Y article might mean. I think it's very much open to interpretation at this point. I've seen many different viewpoints, so it'll be interesting to get your take on that, mate. And then we've got Jean-Marc Louis, who says he smells 360 dominance once again. So it'll be interesting. Will Microsoft ever get back to what it was like during the 360 era? Fun speculations in chat as well. Welcome, mate. Oh, there's 11 people in here. That's ridiculous, if I'm being perfectly honest. So thank you all very very much for joining. So yeah, I guess just to summarize things then, it is sort of the dust hasn't even began to settle just yet, and it will take probably months and months to settle. But my initial thoughts are I'm pleased that finally the acquisition has been completed. I'm a little bit disappointed that we haven't quite put that exclusivity question to bed just yet, and I think Microsoft might regret that. I think I was talking to Flap just before we set this up, and I think what might happen now is anytime Bethesda releases a game or announces a game, they've got a trailer, people are going to be looking for that final frame, that frame at the end of the trailer that has PlayStation or Xbox. So they're looking at the beginning. Does the trailer begin with the infamous world premiere? Saying that often appears on a lot of Microsoft shows. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I think, yeah, what Microsoft will find is that conversation, those questions surrounding exclusivity are going to continue and going to continue until each game is announced, which I think takes away something from the game announcement. I think really the announcement should be really focused on the developer and what game they're announcing and what's going to be new and different and fresh about that game. And I think that's going to be overshadowed slightly about the announcement of the platforms as well. So yeah, and then I guess more near term, the excitement is just cool. We're going to get another big boost to Game Pass games. Last week we got a massive influx of sports titles. It looks like next week we're going to be getting, or I guess maybe just later this week, we're going to get a massive influx of Bethesda games as well. So fingers crossed, the game that you're looking forward to will be coming to Game Pass soon. As I say, I'm really looking forward to the Evil Within at this point. And but I have no doubt within the next 2 or 3 months we'll pretty much have all Bethesda games in Game Pass. That is possible, and then we'll just have to see what the future holds. I don't think Microsoft and Bethesda will talk an awful lot between now and E3. Obviously, E3 isn't really that far away. We're just a couple of short months away at this point. I think Bethesda will probably continue to have their own events. They've probably been planning their E3 event for a number of months before this acquisition was completed, and I suspect Microsoft might actually struggle to fit everything in one show if they were to do their own. So we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, exciting times. Particularly if you're part of the Xbox ecosystem, especially if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you're going to get all these fantastic games come to the service. And 2021, 2022, and beyond are going to be exciting I guess for everyone in gaming. We've got potentially Switch Pro coming up, a lot of good games from both Nintendo and Sony, and then Microsoft seem to be hitting it out the park at the moment as well. So very excited to see what the future holds. I think well, maybe just call it there. I did just want this to be a short and sweet video. Please do let me know your thoughts on it. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Obviously, this is the first time I've done this on the Green Pass Gaming channel. Please like and subscribe. It was fantastic to see Green Pass Gaming hit 700 subscribers just earlier this week. Awesome achievement. So congratulations to Flap and Pucks for that. A lot of hard work has gone from those guys, and I obviously just hope that they get their Twitter account back in the not too distant future. So I guess just to have a quick look at the chat before we leave there, I can see, let's have a look. So we've got the Video Games HD saying it's a great announcement today. Yeah, completely agree, my friend. Pixel Slapper with the eyes. Not too sure what that's about, mate. Let me know. Jean-Marc Louis saying it does say that some new titles will be Xbox PC only. Yeah, absolutely. And that's basically what it comes down. It's that language of some. If they didn't use the word some, it might have been a different conversation, but we'll have to see. And the case that is saying it's all about leverage. We'll see if Microsoft can do it. If you can see more than the MLB start showing up on the Xbox, then you know what happens. So yeah, I guess the MLB, I guess if anything, the MLB might show that games need to be multi-platform. The MLB were obviously very keen for their games to be multi-platform and essentially forced Sony's hands. Basically said, look, this game needs to be across all platforms, otherwise we take the license away. So obviously Bethesda won't be like that because Bethesda will answer to Xbox, but it does go to show the power of being multi-platform because of the potential sales reach that might make. So yeah, I guess we'll wrap up there. If you do have any questions or anything, please pop it in the comments. It'll be great to get your feedback on this. And just so everyone's aware, this Saturday, 5 p.m. GMT, it is Green Pass Gaming. Myself, Flap, Pucks, and Luke against Wandering Dutch in the midweek mix-up crew. So look out for that. We'll be streaming that. So please tune in. It'll be really cool to see people in chat. And then this Sunday, 8 p.m. I'm sure we'll be delving into the Bethesda acquisition a little bit more. There'll probably be a few little bits and pieces of information coming out between now and then, so it'll be good to jump into that again. So, and with that, I guess I'll bid everyone a farewell. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care and enjoy your evening.